Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's been a minute since we had a conversation, or I appeared in front of you, or uploaded a video, and I have an excuse, or a reason, or you decide if it's a reason or an excuse. Anyway, what happened is, I swapped computers. And for me, I work out of my office right here, and so I use a desktop computer, even though I have a laptop sitting right behind me here, which I use when I don't sit at a desk here. Regardless, I upgraded from Mac Mini that I had to a Mac Studio, since, I do design work, I do other things, and also I do videos and things like that, which requires, as I discovered, more power than a Mac Mini. Now, when I did that, what I discovered is, so Mac Studio comes with a different M1 chip. I forgot the actual name of it. It's been a month since I've been tinkering with it. And what happened is my equipment, camera specifically, just stopped working, meaning it did not respond. The computer did not recognize it at all. Anyway, I had to do a bunch of other things, and eventually I figured out, which was probably about a week ago or so, that I had to, or a few weeks ago, I had to uninstall some other software that I had on this computer that was interfering with a software that helping me run my DSLR as my webcam. So here we are. And the subject that I've been wanting to talk to you about for a while now is really dear to my heart. It is something that I've been preaching for many, many, many years, even before the whole revolution of design industry, with the fact that we need to have kind of a work-life balance, and we need to be more proactive with our mental health, and we need to be more proactive with our well-being, and so on and so forth. So, without me going on and on and about it, I am back. I am glad to be back. It was an insane couple of months, especially the last couple of weeks. I had an entire family here at my house, which is fun but also exhausting, but still fun, and I loved it. Haven't seen my family in a while due to pandemic and all that type of shit. Anyhow, without further ado, let's jump into that video. Let's hit it. All right, what the fuck are we talking about? So the subject that I always start saying dear to my heart is essentially, as I do like to say to some of my team members and some of my designers that I ever mentored or were on my team, hired and managed, I always like to say, get the fuck out of a computer. Literally, just go sip margaritas on the beach, take a walk, do whatever the fuck you want. Don't sit in front of a computer. One of the things that I discovered over my career is best work that I ever done did not happen in front of a computer. And what it really means is when we allow our mind, and I'm not the only one who's talking about it. There is, I think, some studies done on this subject, but don't quote me on that. Go and research this specific part. But when we allow our brain to essentially rest and wonder, our brain comes up with amazing things. What I'm trying to say is there are several types of different designers and engineers and other people as well, but I'm going to talk about designers specifically. And those are the people who, one type is the ones who are what I like to call dreamers. Dreamers, typically, when you give them a problem to solve, or you pose with an idea or just random thought or whatnot, they will never rush to a computer. They will never rush to do anything. They will let it sit. They will kind of absorb the information. spend days, sometimes even weeks with it. Let it just be in their head without trying to figure it out, without trying to think about it too hard, without trying to see what are the ins and outs of this kind of idea or problem or whatever that might be, but just be with it. I am kind of in that area where somebody tells me something, I kind of need this time to let it just sit with me, right? But I'm more proactive than that. Now there is another type. Another type is the extreme doer, as I like to say. The extreme doers are the ones who, as soon as you give them something, before you even finish the sentence, they're already sketching things, they're already designing things, they're already Googling and researching things, and trying to figure it out, trying to map it out, trying to plan the entire thing, blah, blah, blah. And then there's the third type, which is essentially, I guess probably you can put them in the category of procrastinators, if you will. You'll give them that same idea or thought or problem or anything. They will start doing something with it, but then they'll stop and they'll just walk away, do something else, come back to it again, do a little bit, walk away, come back, and it's kind of like drag on and on and on. Now, me personally, I am somewhere in between of the type 1 and type 3, right? People think that my schedule is insane, which it is on some level. But me personally, I do sometimes feel that I procrastinate and I'm a bit lazy, even though I do a lot of shit. But at the end of the day, when I say that I'm a little bit lazy and I might be a little bit of a procrastinator, is because, as I mentioned, I am somewhere in between the type 1 and type 3. When somebody gives me information, I do not rush immediately to try and solve it or try to figure it out or draw or design or plan or write or do anything. I just let it sit for a little bit, and then I start doing once I have a formed kind of a thing in my head that I'm kind of, okay, I know what I need to do here now. I know what's going to be the right steps here. Then I start doing, but when I start doing, I don't sit down and kind of power through the entire thing no matter how long it takes me. No, I'll do a little bit, and then I'll step away and I'll just do something else, and I'll step away and I'll do a third thing and a fourth thing and a fifth thing. And this is kind of my rotation almost on a daily basis between different parts, right? Kind of a jumping between things. It's not because I cannot concentrate on one specific thing. I can, and believe it or not, I love that. Sometimes I will clear out a day from any kind of meetings to just kind of concentrate on one thing. But that thing that I decided to concentrate on already went through this process of me processing the idea in my head, letting it sit, letting it form, letting it kind of come to fruition in my head, and preliminary steps already were taken. So now I need to essentially, quote unquote, execute on it, which means everything formed in my head. I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly how it's supposed to look like or function like. I know exactly what's going to be the steps in there. I know exactly what's going to be the plan. I know exactly who's on my team is going to be doing what on this specific part, and so forth. And what I left to do with is essentially sit down and execute. It's either writing in a complete plan of the feature or product or what needs to be, who's going to be working on what, when, who's going to be involved, and so forth, what kind of assets we need, artifacts, types of research, and so forth. That's an execution part. That's, to me, typically the 20%. Probably some of you have heard of the 80-20 kind of law, where 80% of the work typically can take about 20% of the time, and then 20% of the work will take you 80% of the time. So to me, it's kind of, that's the part that I like to play around with. Now, when I say in harsh words, get the fuck away from your computer, I mean that when you're doing anything, and I mean anything, and you feel that you keep doing it and you keep feeling a little bit stuck, or you're not sure what's happening, but you just can't figure that shit out, stop. This is the time to just stop. Don't sit at a computer, because the longer you're going to be sitting at that computer, the longer you're going to be sitting in front of your own block, and nothing is going to be progressing. Or even it might, but in such a slow pace. So the best thing you can do is just at that moment of realization that you're stuck or you're blocked or you just can't figure it out and it's just not working out the way you think it should be or you want it to be, stop. Get up. Go for a walk. I don't know, have a snack. Watch a movie or show. Talk to your friends. Go for a drive. Bike ride. Whatever the fuck it is. Get away from a computer. Get away from your work or the thing you're doing. And let your brain do the work for you while you're doing something else. For me, oftentimes it means something physical. In order for my mental to work well, I need to do something physical, which means I am doing something without any kind of brain power, such as, I don't know, things around the house, dishes, mowing the lawn, I don't know, fixing something in the house, going for a bike ride, going for a walk, and the list goes on. Sometimes another technique that is really, really helpful when you're trying to think about things is to do nothing. Sounds bizarre to many people, but the best thing for your head and for your brain is to just do nothing. Lay on the couch, stare at the ceiling. Stand in front of the window, stare outside. Walk outside, stare at anything. Sit in the park, stare at the leaves, grass, trees, people walking by, anything. Just do nothing. Because when you don't do anything, you literally allow your brain to relax, to start doing the thing that your brain is designed to do and process things without you keep overloading it with more and more and more and more and more and more and more things. So just let it be. As I am working through things, as I'm going through my career, as I've been working with other people, I noticed that other people, me including, when I was a lot younger, doing the same mistake, which is honestly stupid, and it's bizarre that no one actually teaches that. I think these things need to be educated at school level. High school, I don't know, college, universities, boot camps, whatever the fuck it is, whatever entity is educating people should be educating that do not fucking overload your brain. Your brain does not have endless and limitless capacity to do things. There are just a small handful of people in this entire world that can probably operate as a machine for years on end without stopping. But the majority population of the world, majority of our species, cannot. We need rest. We need our brains to not function or not process too many things. So, on that note, here's a few things that I do throughout every single day that helps me to be highly functional, execute on a lot of different things, work through enormously endless amount of information, do my full-time job, mentor people, work on this specific project, do other projects that I work on, have my family life, do everything around the house, what I need to do, provide enough time for me and my partner, and so on and so forth, with just a simple few techniques. So, what do I do? Throughout the day, I do what I like to call mental breaks. Mental breaks, essentially 5 to 10 minutes. Every hour or 2 hours, I'll take 5 to 10 minutes to do some mindless, stupid shit. And that mindless, stupid shit can be, I don't know, surfing the web, reading some articles, buying some stuff on Amazon or other online stores or whatnot, just doing some online shopping, chit-chatting with somebody on some random things, watch YouTube videos that are completely unrelated to my industry or profession, just some random things such as I love a guy named Simon Whistler. You guys can find him on YouTube. He has a shit ton of different channels, and typically it's about history, megastructures, biographies, and things like that, historic things. Nothing to do with design, nothing to do with what I do for a living on a daily basis, but just something that, to me, my brain does not need to function high. I just need to enjoy this kind of entertainment, with also providing a bit of information that I like, right? Another thing that I do, and is typically, I make sure that my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner do not involve me being either at a computer or thinking about work. Unfortunately, my brain is structured in such a way that I'm constantly thinking about work. In order to stop it, I need to do something else to occupy it. And so during breakfast time, I typically watch news. I watch comedy shows and things like that. During the lunchtime, I typically watch YouTube videos, again, such as Simon Whistler, history, technology, biology, I don't know, ancient aliens, or whatever the fuck it is, just to kind of entertain myself and let my brain rest a little bit. Or I would read something completely unrelated. Or during lunch, I'll just blank. I'll just sit down at a dining table and just not do anything. Granted, I understand not all of you, or most of you, have a dining table. That's okay. When I lived on my own before I got married and everything else, when I had a tiny apartment in Brooklyn, my dining table was my bar table. And it was sitting in between my living room and my kitchen. And I would just sit there, or I would just sit on my couch with a coffee table. It doesn't matter where you sit, as long as you do not look or stare at your screen or your computer that has work on it. At the end of the day, regardless of the fact that sometimes I can come back to work afterwards, or I can do more things on my phone, but at the end of the day, around a specific time, typically it's anywhere between 7:30, 8-ish p.m. This is the time when I stop doing anything work-related and I have dinner, typically with my spouse. And at that time, once again, no work. So throughout the entire day, there's blocks of time that I create purposefully to make sure that my brain has that rest. So I want you to remember that the best work, and I mean it, and you can probably ask many other leaders and many other people that have been successful in certain areas, they'll tell you the same thing. The best work did not happen in front of a computer. So step away from that computer. If you do not necessarily require to by your employer, which I doubt you do, to be sitting in front of a computer from 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 or whatever the fuck the time is that you're technically supposed to be working, don't sit there. If you're a creative personality, if something you do is creative, it can be arts, photography. Well, photography is actually different because you can go out and shoot people. Sorry, not shoot people. Photograph people. Design, illustration, anything related to you sitting in front of a computer and doing creative work, oftentimes will be extremely helpful for you to just step away and let your mind wander. Just let it be. There's so many times that I try to promote across all teams that I ever managed and other design leaders that I know that manage people, is that allowing people to work when they work best. Is, some people work best at night, some people work best in the morning. In my last company, I had a designer that basically did not do shit the entire day. He was there for communications, he was there for, answering some questions and being available in Slack. But the actual results and the actual work I would typically see come in through emails and Jira tickets and so forth around the 2-3 a.m. in the morning, his time. So his productivity spiked at that time, which means before that time, I have zero reason of pushing him to produce things, because I know whatever he's going to be producing is going to be okay, fine, fuck it, here you go, here's the thing. But it's not going to be his best work. It's going to be something he's going to be squeezing out of himself unwillingly. It's going to be work, but it's going to be crap. So I guess I'm trying to talk to two people here. I'm trying to talk to you designers to not try and squeeze that crappy work out of you just because you feel you need to. And for you managers, equally the same, do not pressure your designers to squeeze shit out of themselves that is not actually valuable and it's not their best work. Why? Because if you want them to produce work on a specific time frame, then I'll be honest with you, you don't know how to manage designers. You don't know the first thing about creatives. Creatives do not shoot rainbows out of their asses on demand and when you feel like it. They need that time. Everyone works differently. Everyone works at different time. Everyone is the best at productivity levels at different times of the day. We're not all operating on the same time. So we need to remember that, and we need to be aware of that, and we need to create a space for that. Equally as us creating that space for ourselves, and as managers, we need to create equally the same space for our teams to create their best work, not necessarily on a specific time frame, but when they can produce that best work. On that note, I hope this was very helpful. I know it's not necessarily a how to transition from this to that and how to utilize best practices in your portfolio and how to make your resume better and whatnot, but I do feel and I strongly believe that your mental well-being is a lot more important than how great your portfolio is, or working a little bit more on your portfolio, or refining your resume a little bit more. Because if you are happy and if you are healthy, you will project that and your confidence level will rise. As somebody just mentioned, I'm literally also watching an event today, and somebody just mentioned that there were studies made that if we are tired and we are not fully rejuvenated and re-energized, we are not as convincing. People do not believe us as much. It is a lot easier to persuade us. It is a lot easier for us to doubt ourselves and so forth. We need to be well. And being well means you do not stretch yourself to such extent that, and as usual in my videos, I get distracted by my watch. If you stretch yourself too much and too far, you will snap. Believe me, I've been there. And when you will snap, that's when everything is gonna come crumbling down. So maintain your well-being. And once again, get the fuck away from the computer and do your best work, whatever you think your best work is being done. And when you're ready, come back to your computer and execute on it. On that note, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate every single one of you who comes to my channel and watches these videos. Please do like, subscribe, share the video if you think somebody needs to listen to this. Your time is incredibly valuable, and I thank you for spending that time with me. And once again, never stop learning.